Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my very first episode. My name is Michelle, and if you're new here, welcome to my little corner of the internet where I talk about conscious creation, living in alignment, basically how to stop letting that scattered energy that you may be feeling keep you from your gifts and from bringing these gifts into the world. So, today we're going to dive into something pretty deep, something that I know so many of you struggle with. And honestly, this is something that I struggled with for years. It really prevented me from stepping into and continue to step into the person that evolves and connects with new visions that I have for myself, right? So, that's what this whole multi passionate thing, So, a lot of us that are here or in the world in general have so many different interests, and we're told that we really have to just focus on one thing at a time. And I'm telling you, it's just not true. So if you're multi-passionate and there's so many different things that you want to bring into the world, you are in the right place. So you wake up excited, right? You got like a few business ideas. You spend your mornings researching new opportunities you've discovered on Instagram or listening to this one or listening to that one. You start working on a project in the afternoon, and then you go to bed feeling guilty about all the things that you didn't finish, maybe all of the ideas that you're not pursuing or moving from one thing to the other, all the ways that you feel like you're just sort of scattered, that your energy is all over the place. Can I get an amen to that? Right? So, I mean, I can relate. Like, raise your hand if you've ever felt personally attacked by your own creativity. It's wild. So, today I want to share something with you that's completely shifted how I think about this whole multi passionate thing. And honestly, it might change everything that you've been told about finding that one thing, right? So maybe we don't really have to do that. And that's kind of in contradiction to what a lot of people might say. But there is some key things here. So we can't focus on too many things at one time, or the universe doesn't know what to present to us, right? So it's not that you can't bring all of your gifts to the world. It's really just about harnessing and focusing, find that drishti, right? So that's what we call it in yoga, that focal point of one particular thing at a time. So one thing you may want to consider just for a moment is, what if, and just stay with me here, what if the problem isn't that you have too many ideas, right? Just what we were speaking about, but what if the quote unquote problem isn't that you're indecisive or scattered or lack any type of focus? What if it's just that you're kind of maybe using the wrong system? I don't know if you've ever thought about like that, but most goal setting approaches, and I'm talking about literally everything that you've probably tried, they assume you already know what you want, right? They assume you already have that sense of clarity, that you know where you want to be at the end result. They assume your challenge is just motivation. Like, oh, you just need to get disciplined, right? You just need to stick with it. You just need to do whatever it is that they're telling you that you need to do in order to get to the end. But as multi-passionate soul, it's not your challenge at all. The challenge is choice paralysis. Can you relate, right? So it's decision fatigue. Your challenge is having too many incredible, amazing possibilities tugging at your heartstrings, right? Knowing that you want to get these into the world and not knowing which one to focus on first without feeling like you're abandoning all of the other aspects of yourself. Again, I can completely relate to this because that's the way I feel. I'm like so excited about life all of the time. Like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I feel it. But then I also need to harness my energy in order to get one thing done at a time too. There's definitely a system behind that. I'm going to share that with you. So here's the thing, right? So traditional philosophy or traditional productivity advice, how we're productive, it's not designed for us. It's not designed for people who are multi-passionate, who want to tap into that. And I feel like there's more of us out there than there ever was before. It's designed for people who have one clear passion, one obvious path, one, like straightforward journey from A to B. But that's not you, right? So that's not me either. We're more like having a soul that can see possibility everywhere. And it's not a curse, even though it might feel like sometimes it's more of like a superpower. But you have to know how to focus, right? You have to know how to focus that superpower. So let me tell you about Sarah. And I'm changing her name because Sarah's actually one of my clients. And she came to me about 6 months ago, just exhausted. And when I say exhausted, I mean she was tired in her bones, just trying and trying and trying. She had seven, not even exaggerating, seven different business ideas that she was trying to work on simultaneously. She started a blog about minimalist living, creating an online course. She was really into nutrition, designing printables for new moms so they could stay focused. And she was also trying to launch a coaching business around confidence. And she had the whole idea for a subscription box for busy women. I swear this is Sarah's me like 5 years ago. And every single one of these ideas was so good, like genuinely good. She wasn't just chasing shiny objects. These were all aligned with her values, her skills, her natural gifts, what she felt called to bring into the world. But she wasn't making progress in any one of them. None. She'd work on the blog, for a couple of hours, and she'd feel guilty about not working on the course. And so she'd switch to the course and then remember that the printables needed attention and they needed to be finished, and then so on and so on. So she felt very scattered, energy scattered, attention scattered, nervous system is in this constant state of low-level anxiety, which takes away from creativity because she was always aware of the things that she wasn't doing. So that's where her focus was going. Sound familiar? Right? So like all of you nodding right now that are listening, if you can relate to what I'm saying. So here's what we did, and this is going to sound a little counterintuitive, but we didn't eliminate any of her ideas. We didn't make her choose one thing forever. What we did was teach her the art of sequential manifestation, right? So one thing at a time, which is hard, but recognizing and acknowledging that it's hard is going to be helpful for you to be able to move forward with it. And being in that sense of being uncomfortable, like, oh, this is hard. I'm like really pulling to go into this direction. No, staying focused, telling the mind, telling the body that, no, we're staying here right now and we're doing this in this particular moment. So I helped her choose just one vision to focus on completely until it was fully manifested. And then, and only then, move on to the next one with the same focused intensity. And when you do that, things happen quickly, so much more quickly. And then you see, you have momentum that's building, and then you see that things are working. And then you have that sense and feeling of accomplishment. These are all vibrational signatures, right? So that call more of that same vibration, that matching vibration, that matching frequency into your life for you to be able to do it again. So the more frustrated you are by trying to do so many different things at the same time, the more you call in that sense of frustration, if that makes sense. Okay. So just to kind of keep it very simple. So within 6 weeks, it was about 6 weeks, she had launched her first online course. And then within a few months, it was generating a few $1,000s a month. She got that rolling. And now she's working on her second vision with confidence as someone who knows that she can manifest anything she chooses to focus on. So that's the power of focused creation. I mean, we talk about this. People talk about this all of the time. But I think that they don't really get down to the principles and the underlying reasons why this actually works. So that's what my work is all about, sharing the foundational principle that changed everything for both Sarah, for myself, and for all the people that I work with. And this comes from a level or an understanding in simple terms of what quantum physics is. Right? So how our reality is created. And it comes from ancient wisdom. It comes from so many things that I've studied about how manifestation actually works. I mean, we're always manifesting regardless. You're always in a state of manifestation. All manifestation is bringing something from vibrational nature into your physical reality. So what are you connecting to? Right? So this is more than about manifestation and more about deliberate creation. Right? So how much do we actually call into our lives on purpose? Energy follows clarity. Let me say that again, right? Energy follows clarity. So think about like the sun's rays, right? So when the sun, this beautiful sun, hits the earth, it's gentle, it's warm, it's lovely, it's pleasant, but it's dispersed. Take those same rays and focus them through a magnifying glass, and suddenly you can start a fire, darling. The energy isn't different, but the focus is, right? It's laser focused. Your creative energy works the same way. When you're clear, like when you're crystal clear about what you're creating and why, something magical happens. Your subconscious mind stops receiving these mixed messages moving from one direction to the next. It's this like frantic sort of energy. And the universe has a specific frequency to match and amplify. You start making decisions because you have this filter of, does this support my vision or distract from it? So you're able to kind of be within, cultivate that sense of self-awareness of like, am I moving more toward what I want and having that clarity of focus, or am I moving away? When you're unclear, when you're trying to hold space for every possibility simultaneously, the opposite happens. So your subconscious gets confused. Your energy disperses in multiple directions, and then therefore you attract multiple results, mixed results, because you're broadcasting mixed signals to the universe. So it doesn't know what to give you. And actually, it's giving you exactly what you're broadcasting if you think about it. If you're moving from one thing to the next without holding onto your vision or giving up too easily, and then moving to something else, your energy flows or your focus goes, right? So it's not just woo-woo manifestation talk. That's what I love. Like, I've been studying this for over 30 years and really studying how the application of universal laws, right? Understanding universal law, that's where it started for me. And then getting into metaphysical concepts and principles and how those work. Studying subconscious, one of my most favorite teachers and mentors is Dr. Joseph Murphy. And so really understanding how that works. Neville Goddard, some of these new thought leaders of the 1880s to 1920s. What is that about? And then becoming a yoga teacher and understanding that we're all talking about the same thing. And then this newest revelation of quantum physics, where now it's just like baking a cake. You have the recipe. Now it's more than just these ethereal sort of concepts that like, okay, that's cool. I understand that this might be about positive thinking. And I do feel better when I think positively. But now when we know what's going on in the body and this science that explains it, I just can't even get over how powerful this is. So, and this is how consciousness and creation work at like the deepest levels, at the levels that you have an opportunity and can access. Neville Goddard, and if you don't know who he is, this amazing mystic teacher, one of my most favorite teachers, he taught us about something called living in the end. And what that means is assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled so completely that your subconscious mind and the quantum field find itself to have no choice but to recognize reality to match your assumption. So basically your thoughts and your feelings, they're in congruence. They're in the same space when you're feeling like, I've already received this experience. That creates a frequency, and that frequency connects to the quantum field of possibilities. Hold that frequency for a specific period of time, and that will be shown in your reality. And we could dive like a lot deeper into that, but it truly is that simple. Most of us are just paying attention to what it is that we already have, therefore regurgitating the same experience. So it really is about harnessing or really understanding with clarity what we're wanting to create and acting as if that is already a known fact. But the key is, and what most people miss, is that you can only assume the feeling of one wish fulfilled at the same time with the power of your being, right? So you can't be sporadic. You can't be moving. It's kind of like wanting to go to the grocery store, but then stopping over, that's the destination. But we stopped at a friend's, then we changed our mind, went to the beach, then you'll never get there. You can only live in the end of one specific vision with complete conviction at a time. So when you try to hold multiple end states simultaneously, you create what quantum physicists call, they're called interference patterns. Your possibilities literally cancel each other out, and instead of amplifying one another. So the work, and I know it might feel scary at first, but the work is to choose one vision to focus on completely until it is fully manifested in your experience. Not forever, my friends. Not only as this one passion that you're going to bring to the world, but just as your current focus. And I promise you, when you do this, when you give that one vision the full power of your focused attention, these miraculous things will begin to happen, right? So how? right? This sounds amazing. And here's what I love about what I do. I've always been inquisitive by nature. Don't tell me something, I need to know how to do it. Like, that's just the way my mind works. So when I'm working with folks, it's very, very important for me to say, hey, this is what's true. This is how you do it. So how do you actually do this? How do you choose which vision to focus on first? And how do you stay so focused when new opportunities try to pull your attention away? And those are all incredible questions, but that's where what I call your clarity map, right? So something I created called clarity map becomes essential. It's not just a vision board though. So that, even though that's kind of part of it, it's a multi-dimensional blueprint that addresses your energetic, your emotional, your mental, your practical aspects of your chosen vision. So all of those matter. That's why just, talking doesn't work. You can't just talk your wishes into existence. You have to be in coherence in both mind and body and spirit and belief and everything all at the same time, if that makes sense. So I'm going to walk you through the key elements. First, you need what I call your fulfilled vision at the center, right? So putting that in the center. This isn't just about steps to get there. It's about the end result. Like, where are you? Sitting at a desk, sipping tea on the coast of Antigua, right? Like, what is it? And it's about the end result, right? So it's about you sitting at the end, felt and experienced like it's already real. So, like, when you think about this vision, can you feel it in your body? Does your whole being say yes, right? So that's what you want to clarify first. And then you have your sacred why. And I'm not talking about surface level reasons like to make money. I'm talking about soul level reasons that align with your energetic frequency. What becomes possible in the world when this vision is real? How does achieving this vision allow you to serve at your highest level? Why? Just really dig into that. What does this mean for you? Then you create or you identify what is called your identity bridge. So who is the woman who has achieved this outcome? Like, look at her, right? This person that's sitting on this porch sipping tea in Antigua. How does she think? How does she feel and speak and move through the world? Because if it was you now, that's where you would be. So there are some things that you need to recognize about future self that you're not embodying or encompassing in this very moment that you can put on, just like you put on a coat, right? Just like you put on your clothes. You can try them on and you can move through the world. But you need to identify who this person is, because here's the thing, and this is where the metaphysical understanding becomes so important. You can't create from an identity that doesn't match the energetic identity of what you want to experience. You can't. What you're receiving right now is what you're conscious of. And so in order to create something different, you have to become consciously aware and then also connected to a new identity. And then once you've created that identity, you need your sacred no's. What are you choosing not to do in service of this vision? What can you no longer do from this point on? What opportunities are you going to decline? What patterns will you no longer engage, right? What is no longer a match to that woman that's sitting there with everything that you're wanting to experience? What does she say no to? What does she no longer accept? What boundaries does she have? These are all critical to identify. Because boundaries aren't just about saying no to bad things. Sometimes you have to say no to good things, right, that aren't aligned with your current focus, right? So if it's about building a business and you go out to coffee every single morning for 2 hours with your girlfriends, there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you don't go out every single morning. Now you have to say no to that beautiful experience because now you have some work to do. You have blog posts or you have whatever it might be. So just really identifying what you can't do anymore, what you have to create space for, to then purposely, intentionally invite into your life. So I know some of you are thinking, but Michelle, what about my other ideas? What if I choose wrong? What if I miss out on something better? I get it. I really do. That's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And it is real. But what I've learned is that there are no wrong choices. There's just only different experiences that all lead to growth. So here's the beautiful paradox. When you focus completely on one vision and manifest it fully, you don't lose the other possibilities. You actually gain access to them from a place of power rather than a place of desperation. And success in one area will absolutely create confidence in your ability to manifest anything that you choose. It creates skills and resources that transfer to all of those other visions that you're wanting to bring into your life. And it creates it creates proof to your subconscious, right? That you can be trusted with big dreams. So here's the deeper truth I want to leave you with today. Your multi-passionate nature is not something to overcome. It is not a flaw to fix or a weakness to manage. Beautiful friends, it is an absolute gift. But like any gift, it becomes most powerful when it's consciously directed rather than unconsciously scattered. What are you going to give that gift to, right? The most successful creators, the one to seem to effortlessly manifest their visions, they haven't figured out how to focus on one thing forever. They've just mastered the art of sequential manifestation. They choose one particular outcome, assume its fulfillment completely, live from that end state until it manifests, then move on to the next vision with the same focused identity. And not only that identity, but that which they'll have to adopt, but also that intensity. And that's what I'm inviting you into. So not limitations of any kind, but more of a liberation. And liberation from the exhausting cycle of starting and stopping. I mean, that's exhausting. Liberation from the guilt of having too many quote unquote interests. Liberation from the overwhelm of trying to do everything all at once. It's just not possible. I'm inviting you to trust that your multi-passionate nature is a gift that becomes most powerful when it's focused, when it's not scattered. Because here's what I know, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You have gifts that the world needs. You have a unique perspective. You have a unique voice, a unique way of serving that only you can provide. And I mean it, only you can. But those gifts can't reach the people who need them the most when they're scattered across a dozen half-started projects, right? So the world needs you focused. Your people need you focused. The world needs you clear. It needs you to choose just one path, walk it fully, and show the rest of us what's possible, right? So when this multi-passionate, beautiful energy gets consciously directed, wow, it's quite incredible. Here's what I want you to do right now. And I mean right now, while it's fresh, while you're feeling inspired, pause this episode for a moment and ask yourself this question. If I could only focus on one creative vision for the next 6 months, which one would make my whole being say yes? Not your mind, your whole being. Tune in, listen, take a couple of moments to yourself to really listen to that small voice of intuition. Your energy, your breath, your cellular structure. Which vision, when you imagine it fully realized, creates expansion, creates opening, an invitation rather than contraction and restriction? Listen to your body. Your body knows. And trust the answer that comes. Don't overthink it. Don't analyze it to death. Just trust what feels most true in your bones. And if you want support with this, if you want the complete system for transforming your multi-passionate chaos, right, into this focused creative power, my friends, I created something called From Chaos to Clarity. I'm super proud of this, and I've been doing more and more of these lately. And this particular one is a complete blueprint. It includes everything that we talked about today and so much more. 4-chapter guide that I created that walks you through the entire process. There's a comprehensive workbook to create your personal clarity map, the one we spoke of, and even a custom vision board template designed specifically for focused manifestation. And you have access to a private group where you'll find incredible support with folks that are doing the same thing that you are. So this really helps us to feel a sense of accountability, and you'll be learning more about the concepts that I'm speaking about here. So this is about the science of transformation, not wishing. So you can find all the results in the show notes, right? Or you can just go to my website. And honestly, this is the system I wish I had 10 years ago when I was drowning in possibilities and making no progress on any of them, and then just feeling like an absolute loser because I couldn't make anything come to fruition. I was just like, what in the world is going on? I know that I can do this. So I created it for you. But whether you work with me or not, the most important thing is that you start. So start choosing, start focusing, start trusting that your scattered energy is not a problem to solve. It's raw creative power. It's just waiting to be directed. So in closing, my friends, I just want to let you know that your multi-passionate nature, it's not a burden, it's a superpower. But like any superpower, it becomes most effective when it's consciously focused rather than unconsciously scattered. So the world needs what you came here to give. It's time to stop letting scattered energy keep your gifts from reaching the people who need them most. Your moment of focus, clarity, and creation starts right now. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for being willing to consider that there might be a different way. I love you unconditionally, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now, my friends.